尊敬的各位领导、各位嘉宾、亲爱的导师们、同学们，大家晚上好！这里是未来杯区块链应用创新大赛启动仪式的活动现场，我是今晚的主持人郭鹤。当前全球加速进入了数字资产时代，数字经济已占据了不可忽视的比重。根据联合国2019年数字经济报告，目前数字经济对于全球经济的贡献作用占的 GDP 比重的14.5%到15.5%，并且还在逐步上升。截止到2020年，中国数字经济占 GDP 比重已接近40%。单2020年，中国数字经济增加规模就超过了19万亿。在数字经济转型的过程中，区块链技术由于其不可篡改、时间戳、可溯源的特性，被认为是推动构建未来数字社会的重要力量。区块链技术还改变了数字集中化的现象，开启了全新的商业模式。如今，区块链技术迅速发展，伴随着以太坊的推出，吸引了越来越多的开发者对该领域进行探索。本次大赛希望推动新一代信息技术产业的发展，为经济社会升级转型提供技术支持，同时寻找区块链技术的专业人才，发掘有潜力、有价值、有影响力的创业项目，培育新的创新创业的机会，以加速实现区块链技术与金融、医疗、农业、能源、版权、慈善等行业的融合，推进产业价值的释放。大赛将整合优势资源，展开合规监管、标准研究、底层技术研发和行业等人才培养等工作，为社会管理和治理水平提供了技术手段。中软国际教育集团与国内外顶级科研机构、区块链头部企业展开深度合作，通过课程与竞赛相结合的方式，推动区块链技术的应用和人才培养。本届大赛是由中国信息协会主办，中国信息协会教育分会、iCan文化传媒北京有限公司、中软国际教育集团、以太坊行星承办，北京大学研发实验服务基地、iCan国际联盟、SteerTech 科技平台、BinData 数境社区协办，以太坊基金会全程战略支持。本次大赛共设有2个赛道，分别是应用场景创新和区块链工具开发，供选手自行进行选择。我们希望选手充分发挥和展示区块链在助力产业发展等各方面的优势，开发出具有创新性、实用性的开发成果。本次大赛的评分标准具有4个部分：一、创新性，工具要具有创新性和亮点；二、实用性，工具要具有明显的适用场景，易于使用，易于操作；三、文档格式必须规范，需要各个章节毫无遗漏，论证条理清晰。四是代码格式，需要代码整洁清晰，格式合乎规范，可以维护，轻易拓展，高性能、高安全。本次的赛程安排是在9月25日大赛启动，9月27日到11月26日区块链学习营积极报名，11月26日比赛截止报名，11月29日至12月10日初赛作品评选，12月13日总决赛名单公布，12月下旬我们会进行总决赛。那么今天我们有幸请到了以太坊的首席科学家 Vitalik Buterin 作为我们的演讲嘉宾。自2014年主网上线以来，以太坊发展成为了区块链开发生态中最为强大的公链，超过了3000个 DApp 在以太坊主网进行活跃运行。特别以 Uniswap 为代表的去中心化金融 DeFi 上线后， 大大提高了以太坊用户的活跃度，同时推进了以太坊生态的发展。现在以太坊网络每天是140万的交易量上线，生态中的开发者们正在积极通过 Layer 2协议等方式努力进行创新。同时，在2020年底也开始了以太坊 2.0 的大升级。所以这些积极创新和研发都会带来以太坊应用开发的高潮。依托于以太坊在区块链技术上的创新和经验和创新，以及强大的开发者社群，共同推动区块链技术在中国的发展及其普及。下面请让我为大家介绍今晚的演讲嘉宾 Vitalik Buterin。Good evening, everyone. I feel privileged to extend my warm welcome to all present here for launch of the Application Innovation Challenge of Blockchain. I'm very profusely overjoyed to take the opportunity to introduce our chief guest of the day. He is Mr. Vitalik, who is the best known as one of co-founder of Ethereum. In 2014, he launched Ethereum with Gavin Wood. That's a big round of applause for Mr. Vitalik.
Thank you. Okay. Share screen. Okay. Thank you for the introduction. Thank you, everyone, for listening. So I want to start off by going through the history of Ethereum. So how did Ethereum start? Where did Ethereum start from? And how did the project get to where it is today? So Ethereum started at the end of 2013. The first version of the white paper was written in November 2013, and the project team started to form in December, and in January 2014, the project launched. The blockchain ecosystem in 2013 and 2014 was very different from what it is today. Back in 2013, the blockchain space was still very new. The Bitcoin was almost the only project. There were a few other projects, but I think the average person in the crypto space in 2013 believed that Bitcoin is the only legitimate project, and everything else is a scam, or everything else is not going to work. And so creating a new blockchain on this kind of scale was something that not many people attempted before. It was risky. A lot of people did not know what to expect. The idea of making a general purpose platform, this was something that no one was talking about at the time. There were projects at the time that were trying to do decentralized finance, like DeFi. So, for example, Mastercoin was trying to support some DeFi applications. Namecoin was trying to support a decentralized domain name system. Colored coins were trying to support issuing assets, but no one was really, or very few people were really thinking of the idea of just making a completely general purpose chain where anyone can publish smart contracts, and these smart contracts can be used for any purpose. So I think one thing that people sometimes say is that they say that ideas are very easy to find, but only execution is important. And I really disagree with this. I think sometimes the idea actually is everything. Sometimes if you just get the right idea at the right time, then it doesn't even matter that much what the quality of the execution is. It's just the idea that makes a good project. But so I think Ethereum benefited from having the right idea at the right time, and it also benefited from having a high quality team that started quickly actually working on the project. So work started in December 2013. And the project was announced to the public in January 2014. In July 2014, the Ether sale started, and the Ethereum Foundation was created in Switzerland. And after 20 months, in July 2015, the main network was launched. So 20 months from the white paper to the main network, and once the main network was launched, the Ethereum finally became a reality. People were finally able to start actually building applications on it. And this was an interesting transition for the ecosystem. It was at the beginning. There were a lot of ideas in Ethereum that people were talking about. People had ideas about making decentralized finance projects, some ideas about making DAOs, ideas about making games. But once Ethereum was launched and the blockchain actually existed, then people could finally start building and implementing all of these ideas. And so many of the projects that people use today, like MakerDAO, for example, Augur, many of the big ones, all started around 2015 or 2016. So sometimes it can take a long time between when a project starts and when a lot of people actually start using it and the project becomes successful. But eventually, if your team continues working and it persists, it happens. Now, the progress for the Ethereum ecosystem was not always smooth. Like there were problems. So the first complicated application, the DAO, this very complex smart contract trying to create a decentralized investment fund, launched in 2016. But as everyone knows now, the DAO very quickly got hacked, and this created a big problem for the Ethereum ecosystem. And so things did start off too quickly. And after the DAO hack and the DAO fork and that whole situation, everyone forgot about DAOs for a few years. But then more recently, people have come back to doing DAOs, and there are many projects doing DAOs again. So over the next 4 years, people adapted to writing smart contracts, and people learned how to write smart contracts more safely. The work on proof of stake and sharding that I will talk about, the research and the development really started at the end of 2017. And then in 2019, a lot of applications started. So the DeFi space really grew in 2019. Uniswap was launched in November 2018. The proof of stake beacon chain, the Ethereum proof of stake chain, launched at the end of 2020. And in 2021, there has been just a lot of activity around NFTs. So a lot of interesting things have happened in the ecosystem since then. Now, there are the two largest technology challenges that we have right now. One is proof of stake, so completing the switch from proof of work to a proof of stake. This is a process that has already started. So the proof of stake chain was launched at the end of 2020, but the proof of work chain still exists. And at the beginning of next year, there will be this event called the merge, where the existing Ethereum chain and the proof of stake chain combine together. And proof of work is removed completely. So this is one big step. It still needs to happen. This big step has not happened yet. And the second is scaling. So scaling has been a big problem for the ecosystem. Transaction fees are very high. Lots of people want to do things in Ethereum, and lots of people, I think, more and more wants to do things on the Ethereum public chain, but the capacity of the public chain is very limited. So this is so coming up with ways to scale and scale safely. So scale in a way that does not sacrifice the decentralization and the security of Ethereum. This is a difficult challenge, but it's a challenge that we are working on. So the merge, the proof of stake chain has been running very stably for the last 9 months. But the Ethereum says the main Ethereum chain has not yet switched to proof of stake. So all of the applications, smart contracts, transactions are still happening on the proof of work chain. But sometime early next year, we will make this switch to proof of stake. And this will actually mean that the entire Ethereum ecosystem is going to start running on proof of stake. So that is something so this is one of the big things that we're working on. Another thing that we're working on is scalability. So scalability is a big challenge because, so as I've said, there's many people who want to use the Ethereum blockchain, but there's not much space on the Ethereum blockchain. And so very few people who want to use Ethereum actually can use Ethereum. So the challenge, one of the solutions that we are actively working on is called rollups. So rollups are a second layer protocol that uses the blockchain in a more efficient way. So instead of all of the computation and all of the data going onto the blockchain, only a small amount of data actually goes onto the blockchain. And rollups can be used to increase scalability by a factor of 10 to 100. And there are rollup projects that are already running on Ethereum today. So rollup scaling is actively happening. A lot of projects are slowly moving over. And so there has been a lot of success here, but it has been a slow process, right? It has taken a long time to get rollups up to where they are today. And we've been talking for a long time, like we've been talking since at least 2015 about how scaling is very important. And actually getting to a solution is just something that has taken a long time. So proof of the one of the interesting things about the Ethereum community is that all of this work on proof of stake and on rollups, it's being done not by one centralized company, but it's done by many independent teams and independent companies in many countries around the world. So making Ethereum actually happen is not just a technical challenge. It's also a coordination challenge. So it's a challenge of getting all of these teams to actually work together. And coming up with a solution has been difficult, but I think we've done a fairly good job. So I think what has actually happened in the ecosystem is that there are many independent teams, and the teams independently work on their own projects. And then people in the foundation maintain close relationships with with these teams. So they often talk to each other, and they talk to each other. They closely communicate, and so there's still enough communication. But without there's still enough communication to make sure that everyone is still working together toward the same goal. So I think the important thing here is that just sometimes you just do have to take you just have to be patient. So this is a chart of the total value locked. So the amount of cryptocurrency that is actually sitting inside of layer 2 protocols. So it's a way of measuring how many people are actually using these scaling solutions on top of Ethereum. So for a very long time, it was very close to zero. For a very long time, these scaling projects, they were just ideas, and they were just research papers. They were people writing code for tests, and people who were criticizing Ethereum were saying that Ethereum is that these things are never going to happen, right? But then finally what happened was that finally people eventually started using these projects. When the projects became good enough that people could use them, people started using them. And then very recently, even more people started using them. I think the most recent statistics are that there's something like 3 or 4 transactions per second happening on Ethereum layer 2 projects now. So if that's true, that means that these layer 2 projects are already increasing Ethereum scalability by more than 20%. And to get to 20% to 100 times, all that we need is for the technology to improve further and for rollups to, they care about fairness, they care about open source software. They care about freedom. They care about new and more democratic approaches to governance. They care about this idea that there is a community and people work together and help each other. And the challenge is that if there are these things that people want, but the technology is not good, does not actually achieve these things, then there can be problems, right? And I think there are examples of this where Ethereum did successfully. So, for example, like one of the reasons, or one of the things that people value in the Ethereum ecosystem is like creativity and innovation, and just the ability for people to create and do their own thing. And but this is only possible because the Ethereum technology is a general purpose blockchain, right? Like Bitcoin, for example, is not a general purpose blockchain. And so it's not possible to just build applications on Bitcoin the way that it's possible to build applications on Ethereum. And so because Bitcoin, the blockchain, is focused on one application, Bitcoin, the community, also became focused on one application. Now, right now, there are areas where the technology is having challenges. So, for example, proof of work, and a lot of people criticize proof of work. It leads to pollution. It contributes to global warming, and this does make it difficult for people who would otherwise really love blockchains and be really interested in these ideas and in using blockchains. It makes it more difficult for them to actually really want to participate. So hopefully the switch to proof of stake will solve this. High transaction fees, also a problem. So if transaction fees are high, then poor people cannot participate. It becomes unfair. Only very wealthy people who have been in Ethereum since the beginning are willing to pay these very high fees. Only financial applications are really willing to participate. And so people start thinking like blockchains equals finance, or blockchains equal like a toy for rich people. And this is a problem, right? So this is another way in which problems with the technology can lead to problems with the community. And so like this is just another way in which technology is important, right? Like because like if we can solve scaling, and I think we are successfully solving scaling, then that actually ensures that the Ethereum blockchain and the Ethereum ecosystem actually can do the things that people are excited about blockchains because they want to do. So I think there has been a lot of progress. There has been a lot of progress in the technology. And I think blockchains are getting much more mainstream acceptance around the world. NFTs in particular have been interesting. NFTs have brought in artists, authors, just many kinds of people who, musicians, who would not have participated in the blockchain space otherwise. And they have actually gotten in and they've started participating. So there's more people interested in cryptocurrency. There's more people interested in decentralized governance. So there's a lot of people really excited about this using blockchains to create more transparent, open, and fair ways for people to collaborate and work together. But for this to actually happen, the technology has to keep up. The technology has to match what people want blockchains to be able to do. And I think the good news is that after many years of research, many years of development, I think we're finally seeing a lot of success.
Okay, thank you so much for giving us such a wonderful speech. So next section. Okay, let's welcome another guest, Mr. Jin Nan Sun from Peking University. He will have a conversation with Mr. Vitalik about the blockchain. 下面让我们非常感谢Vitalik 先生带来了精彩的演讲。下面我们有请北京大学软件工程国家研究中心副主任孙基南老师与 Vitalik 一起共同探讨一些区块链相关的话题。有请孙老师。
谢谢主持人。我不知道就是Vitalik能听懂这中文吗？要不我先说一遍中文，还是再说一遍英文
？OK。
好，我第一个问题呢，就是其实Vitalik现在是这个应该是事实上在区块链技术的一个创新的领导者。然后我们也看到了这个以太坊现在有了很大的一个进步然后正在迈向一个新的一个阶段。那么我想第一个问题就是说，这个在这个包括智能合约，包括 DeFi 这个领域中，我们发现有很多的这种合约的造成的这种漏洞有很多产生了像闪电贷这样的一些攻击的一些事件的发生当然这种情况在这几年来出现的比较多，所以我想问 Vitalik 这个对这块有没有一些考虑或者思考，看是不是需要我用英文再说一遍。
对，就是 OK。
我不知道我的问题清不清楚
对，就是最后一点不太清楚，就是
OK，
能不能再
最后一点就是说涉及到智能合约的漏洞，
漏洞
然后有很多攻击的事件，可能对很多的项目造成了很多的损失。我是想，我们从这个底层的，从以太坊这种设计上，未来中也许Vitalik会给我们一些建议听听你的意见。
那这个在这个问题，我觉得我们的生态已经有很多的改进，就比如如果你看那个我说的16年的一个DAO，那个DAO是 特别容易被攻击，因为是有很多的漏洞，它的漏洞是很容易发现的。但是现在有很多DAO，就是现在DAO可能就有100个，都不知道多少，有很多个，但是那个但是现在就有一些攻击，但是我觉得就是如果你看比例，就是多少攻击除以在整个生态有多少个项目，我觉得现在就已经是更安全的，但是我们一定可以做的更多，就是我们可以改良那个语言，就是把那个 solidity 做一个更好的、更安全的或者现在有一些团队在做一些新的语言，就比如有个 Viper， 还有 Bamboo， 还有这种更多的就更新的，就他们说是更安全的语言所以还有现在有那个 formal verification 的那个tooling， 最近变得更好，我觉得未来会还变得更好。但是现在这个 formal verification 是一个有一些专家的公司可以做，有些也是特别贵的，也是可能需要付什么10万、20万才能做。但是我特别希望那个 formal verification 的东西变得更是怎么说，就是变成一个所有人可以用的东西。我觉得5年之内大可能会所以就是现在比5年前我觉得已经是很安全的，但是5年后会就是我觉得还会更安全的。我觉得5年后合约的漏洞也不会我们的生态的最大的安全问题。
好，谢谢维塔利，我们听到这个对形式化验证的这个技术的一个期待对于第二个小问题呢，就是我们也注意到了，从今年开始，有一些这个主权国家开始使用这个加密数字货币，可能甚至有些国家可能走得更前面一些，更激进一些，把它作为了法定的货币。然后也有一些我们也注意到了，有些公司或者是企业可能已经把加密数字货币然后作为了他们的支付的选项之一所以我是想这可能都会对这个加密货币的市场上造成这样的扰动我们也看到了这个他们的一些选择可能会这个造成了很多这种波动，所以我也想请问这个维塔利哥，就您对这个加密数字货币，然后跟这个现实世界中这种连接然后你有什么样的这个建议或者想法以及这个加密市场这个造成的波动，也许可能会有一些操纵在这里边想听听您的意见
对这个。我觉得短期这个波动和操纵就肯定有一点，因为区块链还是一个特别早期的技术，就是你可能会说区块链现在已经存在了什么12年，但是互联网现在也存在了，可能就是如果你包括就美国的那些 ARPANET 的东西，就是现在是互联网可能就52岁了。所以区块链还是很新的，大家还不知道这个到底是一个会变成我们的下一代的所有东西的基础，还是只是一个小的玩具，还是在有一些领域呢可以用的，在有一些领域不可以用的，就是大家特别不确定所以 如果有第一次，一个国家就说，那我们认可这个东西，那就是一个很大的消息。所以现在，肯定，是这样的，但是我觉得就有，这种事情变正常之后就，不会有这么多。那还有的是。就是我觉得就是现在就是一个特别好的时间开始开始把就试试做一些更主流的区块链的应用，因为现在我们就开始就几乎解决了一些扩展性的问题，就是安全的问题还有，但是比5年前呢少很多，还有那些现在的那些比如 DeFi 和这些其他的的领域是很发达的，所以就做更多的这种应用是好的，就是试试做一些给很多人做的东西是好的，但是我也觉得就是这种事情就是有好的方法，有不太好的方法。就是其实我不太赞同那个 El Salvador 做的这个东西，就是他们做的那个 legal tender 的法律，就是其实他们做的是他们要求所有的那些商家接受他们的数字货币。那这个就是接受那个比特币。第一，就是跟就我自己的原则是不相同的，因为我是比较，我觉得区块链的理念就是一个很大的部分就是自由，就是你可以选择用一个链，你可以去选择用另外一个链，你也可以可以不要用这个东西，但是他们的就这样说，那这个国家里面的所有人需要用。然后现在这个会带来一个问题，就是大部分的人都不知道比特币是什么，不知道他们为什么应该用比特币。所以有很多的这些特别不了解比特币的用户会特别快的进去，然后就会开始下载一些钱包，就做各种事情，就是这种特别快的那个强迫的那个 adoption 是。有很多的风险，就是我更喜欢的是那种更 organic 的，就是人就慢慢自己发现他们为什么需要区块链才开始用的方法，所以就是大概吧，有更多的adoption 是好的，但是就也不应该这样做的太快，就这个也可能会有一些负面的影响。
好，谢谢维塔利，还是要稳步的一步步的往前推进，这样才比较稳定。问个稍微轻松一点的问题，就是说现在有很多的年轻人来参加这个比赛，区块链的这个比赛，如果说他可能有计算机的背景，也可能没有计算机的背景，那么对这样的年轻人来讲，他有志于这个区块链这种开发或者应用或者你对他的这个学习的路径有没有一个这个建议？有没有一样这种建议？
我觉得如果你是一个开发者，你可以就自己就试试做一个 DApp， 就是试试自己写一个智能合约，写一个界面，就做一个整个 DApp， 就开始就看看这个整个过程是怎么样的。我觉得自己做事情是一个特别好的学习的方式。 然后你同时就也可以就有很多的地方可以去多了解这个行业，就了解这个技术，就比如我们的网站那个Ethereum 点org 现在有中文的翻译，还有个 Ethereum 点 cn， 还有 ETHPlanet， 还有就现在有很多的网站，还有一个就是我觉得一个人参加也不如跟其他的人一起参加，所以如果你可以找到一个社区，如果你可以找到一些其他的人跟你一起看这些东西，就看看你是要不要一起就要参加什么项目，或者开始做一个项目，那这样会更好的。
好，谢谢。好，那我们就最后一个问题，想问一下这个，因为我们加密数字货币它有一个这样的一个去中心化的一个特性啊，然后它也有一种一定程度上的匿名性或者是化名性它有一些隐私保护的特性在里面。那么我们也注意到，现在各国开始这个，尤其从今年开始，对这个加密数字货币有很多的这种监管的态度出现。然后我想就是也想问问您，您对这块儿，比如说这个加密数字货币的发展技术趋势和这个监管的这种要求之间有没有一些这个您的一些思考或者考虑
这个监管是一个特别复杂的话题，就是因为就有很多的可以监管的方面，有很多的就不同的话题，就一个就是什么金融的安全问题，另外一个就是怎么监管这些数字货币投资的项目，第三个就是这些隐私相关的东西，那就是不同的问题，现在有不同的方法。我觉得最重要的就是怎么说，就是这个行业的一个危险是现在就是如果这些做监管的人会不了解这个行业，他们也有可能会会有一个结果，就是其实的一些监管的目标和这个行业的目标两个都是不太好的。就比如一个例子，就是在美国最近有一个法案，他们开始说就是他们有一些人就提了一个 amendment， 他们就说就是一个区块链的参与者都是 broker， 都需要什么牌照，然后他们说就是 exempt， 就是不包括那个 POW 的矿工，但是包括那个POS 的节点，所以他们是就是对 POW 的友好，但是对 POS 不友好。然后我们就觉得这个事是特别奇怪的，因为本来就是现在在全球有这个很大的这个环保的运动，就是大家特别想把所有的事情的那个能源的效率变得更高，所以就从POW 切换到 POS 应该是一个好的事情，但是如果这种法案通过了，那可能就会有相反的结果。所以有这些风险，那怎么解决这些问题？就是 就是大概行业应该继续跟这些政府的人交流，因为如果他们互相没有什么心情，那他们可能会就是大可能会有这种结果。然后如果这些做区块链的公司和项目就完全不管这些监管的目标，那监管的人会更可能不相信他们，就更可能会有这种结果。所以我肯定是希望就是如果有一个就是如果两边有更好的关系，那就更容易可以找到一些更好的解决方案。
好，谢谢 Vitalik， 谢谢你的时间。谢谢主持人。
好的。We thank you, Vitalik, for answer our question. And one of our students in the live ask question during the live goes on. So we pick one question of those questions. So the question is, one of the biggest feature of blockchain is immutable. So if a person recorded wrong information and it could not be deleted, so it will. So the students think it will waste the data storage. And according to this phenomenon, could you please talk about your opinion about this issue?
I definitely. Sorry. So what's the issue? Immutability and data storage.
Yeah. If a person record wrong information and it cannot be deleted, so I think it's caused the data storage issue.
Right. I see. I think again, this is. I think realistically, so there's two problems here, right? Like one of them is that if someone just uses the blockchain to make a record to record information to say that information is correct, but they make a mistake, then they should just make a new record to replace the old record, right? And everyone will still see the old record, but they will see that the old record is a mistake. So that's one problem, and I think it's easy to solve. I mean, the other problem, of course, is this question of what if people start putting illegal information, either copyright infringement or other things on the blockchain, and does that create a political risk for the space? I think again, I think the realistic answer to that is I just don't expect much of that to happen, because blockchains are just a much more expensive place to store information than many other decentralized networks, and or just many other centralized systems in many different countries. I think blockchains are good at creating a public consensus about information, but I think there are already other technologies that are much more powerful than blockchains at just storing information by itself, right? So even if you do the math and you look at the transaction fees needed to publish things, I think it's just expensive enough that the risk of people doing things like that is fairly low.
Thank you for answering that. Okay, next we will move to the next part of our opening ceremony. 下面我们将 进行到我们开启仪式的下一个环节。下面有请以太坊首席科学家 Vitalik、北京大学软件工程国家研究中心副主任孙老师、中软国际教育未来杯负责人张哲老师和我们在线的老师同学们一起开启我们的大赛。OK, let's count down。让我们来一起倒计时。请各位把我们的麦打开，我们一起来倒计时。好，我们一起来倒计时，5、4、3、2、1。好的，未来杯区块链应用创新大赛正式启动，非常感谢大家，感谢各位的领导、各位嘉宾、老师、同学们的莅临。未来杯区块链应用创新大赛启动仪式圆满成功，谢谢大家。Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.